Reality is not to be chased. It's to be mirrored. Shift the state, and the mirror of life will reflect it back to you. Neville Goddard. Have you ever found yourself just waiting? Waiting for a sign. Waiting for money to show up. Waiting for the phone call. Waiting for the universe to give you permission to live. As if life had pressed pause and you're just stuck, waiting for something to change. But Neville Goddard didn't teach you to wait. He taught you to create. That's the first major shift for anyone waking up to the power of consciousness. You're not here to react to life. You're here to design it. And that design starts within. The world you see out there is just a mirror. Not of what you say you want, but of the state you live in. You could spend years saying you want abundance, love, or freedom. But if, deep down, you feel like someone who lacks, doubts, or fears, that's the energy life will reflect back. Because the universe doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your state. And state isn't loud, but it echoes. It's what you feel when no one's watching. It's how you react when the bills arrive, when silence feels heavy, or when you whisper to yourself, "See, nothing ever works out for me." That inner state is the command center of your reality. And the most liberating and unsettling truth is this. That state can be chosen. Yes, chosen. No matter what's happening outside, you can pause and ask, what state am I in right now? Am I waiting or creating? Afraid or trusting? Doubting or knowing? Neville said, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Not of the wish coming, but the wish already done. That's the golden key. Stop waiting to feel prosperous. Feel it now. Stop begging for love. Embody love now. Stop chasing signs. Become the sign. Because life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are. And what you are, in this very moment, is your state. And no, it's not pretending. It's not delusion. It's conscious creation. Because if you don't choose the state chooses you. And the one that chooses you is usually the one you've lived in by default. Inherited from old wounds, childhood patterns, or fears passed down like family heirlooms. You think you're just living life. But really, you're repeating it. Neville never taught mantras or repetition for repetition's sake. He didn't tell you to chant, "I'm rich," 1,000 times. He told you to feel it as truth, before anything outside confirms it. Because when you shift the state, reality follows. Ever noticed how, when you're joyful, things just flow? People are kinder. Opportunities pop up. Even traffic seems to part like the Red Sea. But when you're anxious or bitter, everything resists. That's not coincidence. That's consciousness. Reality is reflecting you back to yourself. Always. Not what you desperately hope for, but what you're being. So the waiting is a trap. Because waiting puts you in a state of lack. And lack multiplies itself. You say, when I have money, then I'll feel peace. But it's peace that unlocks the money. You say, when love comes, I'll believe again. But belief is what magnetizes love. You don't receive and then feel. You feel, and then receive. This is the reverse path of logic, and the direct route of creative consciousness. Neville insisted, whatever you accept as true in your imagination will become your reality. So ask yourself, have you truly accepted abundance as real? Or do you still see it as something far away? Have you accepted love as yours? Or do you still feel unworthy of it? Everything you accept internally will appear externally. Because life can only give you what you've already given yourself. In vibration, in feeling, in certainty. That's why things shift the moment you feel ready. Not because the world finally grants you permission, but because something inside you flipped. The frequency changed. You're no longer someone who wants. You're someone who is. And life responds. No need to convince. No need to scream to the universe that you're ready. Just feel as if you already are. In that space, fear fades. Urgency disappears. Stillness rises. And that's when the miracle happens. But it's not a miracle, it's law. It's the law of mirrored consciousness. But then comes the fear. What if I lose this state? What if I slip back? What if doubt creeps in again? It will. Doubt knocks. Fear whispers. Old identities try to drag you back. But awareness is light. And light dissolves shadows. You don't need to be perfect. Just consistent. Consistent in the state you choose. Even when noise surrounds you. Even when your senses say otherwise. Close your eyes and declare, I choose now to be what I desire to experience. Not tomorrow. Not when it's easier. But now. Because the outer change is a ripple from the inner shift. Everything begins in the unseen. Everything flows from your vibration. And that's the most freeing truth. You don't have to change the world first. You only need to change the lens you view it from. The doors you think are locked open from within. And when you hold the new state, even in the middle of contradiction, when you choose faith over facts, when you vibrate as though it's done, even when it all still looks the same, the field begins to move. The energy rearranges. The invisible starts forming the visible. It's not sudden. It's not magic. It's been happening all along. Inside you. Neville always reminded us. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you believe to be true. That's the difference between a beggar and a creator. A beggar waits, watches, and pleads. A creator assumes, feels, and acts from the unseen. You can't fake state. You can't lie to vibration. You can't cheat consciousness. Life sees the depth, not the surface. It hears your soul, not your voice. That's why so many chase results and remain stuck. Because they're acting from fear, not identity. The question is never, what do I want to have? But, who am I choosing to be right now? Because when you shift who you are, what you have shifts too. That's the real transformation. The reality outside isn't the product of what you do. It's the product of who you are. And identity is a decision. A commitment. Even when the outer world doesn't show it yet. Even when everything screams the opposite. The world is just a delay, a snapshot of your old state. Want something new? Live in a new state, now. No guarantees. No proof. Just decision. That's where most give up. When the senses mock the soul. When the eyes say, it's not working. But that's where true creation begins. In the quiet persistence. Neville called this fidelity to the assumed state. It's when you stay loyal to your chosen identity. Even when the mail hasn't arrived. Even when love hasn't texted back. Even when the body still hurts. That's faith in motion. That's creative power. It's not easy. It's not casual. It requires a kind of death. A death of the old version of you. Because as long as you cling to what is, you'll never become what could be. Your mind will beg for proof. Your ego will scream for control. But your spirit only needs conviction. That's why the manifestation often comes after surrender. When you stop trying to force it, and start feeling it as done. And then, without struggle, it arrives. Not because reality finally listened, but because you changed first. And reality had no choice but to follow. It's a mirror. It reflects, not initiates. It responds, not decides. So if you see scarcity, don't argue with the mirror. Change what's standing in front of it. Shift your state. Because the power is always now. Everything you desire is already waiting. As vibration, as potential, as light. And it's activated by one thing. The version of you that chooses to believe. Not in what might happen, but in what already is, in consciousness. You're not here to replay the past. You're here to reimagine the future. And not just any future, but one molded by your inner truth. Neville said, "Change your concept of yourself and you will automatically change the world in which you live." That's the core. Not fixing the world, but redefining you. So choose your new identity. Feel it now. Stay loyal to it. And allow life to rise up, to meet who you've already become.